I'm traveling to the Moab Desert in Utah. This iconic landscape is the most dangerous desert in North America, with punishing temperatures and some of the world's deadliest creatures. Search and Rescue launch 100 missions a year looking for stranded tourists. Now I'm going to show you how to survive here. This is the Moab Desert, 3,600 square miles of canyons, arches and sheer cliffs. Every year 1 million people visit this parched wilderness, but take one wrong turn and it's all too easy to get lost for good. I'm about to put myself in the position of a stranded hiker.
In a few moments the pilot's going to drop me in the middle of this desert, and then I'll be like any hiker who gets lost. And all I've got with me is a water bottle, a knife and a flint. And I'm going to show you how to survive in one of the toughest places on Earth.
My camera crew will follow me as I try to find a way out of this landscape. The thermal updrafts are so powerful here that it's too dangerous to land the chopper. So there's only one way down. To abseil.
We're hovering at about 100 feet now above the desert, and even from this height I can feel the heat of the desert floor. It's like an oven down there.
I've done this before and it's dangerous. One slip is fatal.
But this is it.
The risk when coming down a face like this is that you climb yourself into a position when you can't go up or down. When this happens, it's called getting rim-rocked. 28-year-old climber William McKean got rim-rocked on a cliff near here. He hung on for as long as he could, then fell to his death.
But if this does happen, there's a technique that they teach in the Special Forces for being able to make a jump of like 15 foot. And the idea is when you jump, you keep your feet together, knees slightly bent, and when you land, you roll and you spread the impact along your legs and then around your back.
It's the middle of the day and the sun is now at its hottest. So I've got to get to the safety and shade of that canyon as soon as possible. This entire region was once covered by a shallow sea and just teemed with life. That was 200 million years ago, but now it barely gets 9 inches of rainfall a year. And all the creatures that once thrived here are extinct. I don't want to join them. I found the canyon that I was looking for, and there's a good chance there's water down there because there's plenty of shade. My only problem is how to get down into it. Search and Rescue have a saying in these parts. A lost hiker is down in 12 hours and dead in 24. So far, I've been here for 5.
At last, a way down into this canyon. and there must be water down here somewhere.
The canyon runs downhill, and that's the way water would flow. It's the way I'm gonna go. There are over 1,000 of these narrow canyons in the Moab, some of them only a few feet wide. They're known as slot canyons. The shade down here means the temperature is about 20 degrees less than on the desert floor above.
A really good way of finding water in these canyons is looking for clumps of vegetation and water-hungry plants, and actually this is a really good example, this tamarisk, and just a small bush like this is capable of sucking up to 20 gallons of water a day from these like aquifers, which are these underground chambers of water. And this is a very good sign that there's a water source somewhere nearby.
And there is, but there's a problem.
It's polluted. I can see, you can see there, you know, a rotting squirrel, and you know, this water's not flowing anywhere, so it's just stagnant, and you definitely don't want to be drinking it.
Just one drop could make me seriously ill. Before I can think about making a new plan, I need to get out of the sun, but the nearest shade is a rocky outcrop an hour's hike away, where I might find a cave.
Oh, it's just such a relief to find this cave. But I've also got to be pretty careful. Other desert animals might well have the same idea of looking for the shade, and especially snakes. And actually, if a snake is out in the hottest part of the day in the desert, they will die. They have to have this sort of shade. And you know, a good way is just to, you know, lob a few rocks in. Just have a good look around before. But this is going to be perfect, I think, for me.
Last year, a mountain biker called Kirk Rogers went riding in the Moab in 100 degrees heat. He took a wrong turn and got lost. The next day, his body was found a quarter of a mile from the trail, dead from heat exhaustion. Shady caves like this can literally be lifesavers. I'm going to try and get some rest here and move on at a cooler time of day. Now, I need to come up with another plan for getting out of this desert. And the best way of finding a route is to survey the land from high ground.
What I'm looking for is just any signs of vegetation, you know, trees, bushes. I don't know if you can see that, but there's this line of vegetation along there, and that's the markings of a river. And in the desert where there's a river, there's almost always human habitation.
It doesn't look that far, but the route is far from flat, and I want to try and find food before I start hiking there.
I'm getting really hungry now, and I need something that's just going to give me some energy and some food. And this is just the sort of place, this little gully, that birds or ravens would be nesting. And if I can just get myself one of those, it would be amazing.
Catching a bird without a trap is nearly impossible, but I might be able to find some eggs. Bird droppings or feathers will give away their location.
There's a broken eggshell here, which means there is definitely a nest somewhere up here. And look, there's more here. And it could well be on that ledge. Here we go. And this looks like a chukka's nest here. And these eggs are bigger. These are more like ravens' eggs, and this is what ravens do. They'll tend to drive a little bird away from its nest and then lay its own eggs in it. But either way, I'm going to eat these. I'm going to have one now. I'm going to keep one for later.
All bird eggs are edible. Even the shell is a good source of calcium. And I'm so hungry I can't help but eat it raw. But there is a risk of catching salmonella, so I'm going to try and cook the other one. The windmill on the other side is telling me I can't be far from civilization. But to get to it, I'm going to have to swim the Colorado River.
The way to cross wide rivers like this is to swim diagonally and with the current.
Because the current in this river is so strong, it's impossible to swim against it.
And it's much faster flowing than I first thought. Now I'm actually in it and I'm being pulled fast downstream. I just hope there's going to be somebody actually over here.
I know there are small communities scattered all along the rivers that run through the Moab. Wherever there's a river in the desert, there's bound to be civilization somewhere along the banks. I feel like my journey through this remarkable landscape is almost at an end.
If I've learnt anything out here, it's just how fast this arid, parched, burning desert can sap the life out of you. And on your own, they say that only the strong and the lucky survive. And I don't feel very strong. In fact, I feel pretty wiped out. But I do feel lucky. And for me, it's definitely time to start heading home.